Is that
Hello.
is that former Councilman Philip Spinosa?
Is that Mr. Carlisle?
It is. How you doing, Philip?
I'm doing well. I'm actually driving. Forgive me. I don't have the video rolling. I know we moved times around. I was wanting to be stationary and be on video. Is that okay with you? If we do
Hey,
telephone, we need to pull over.
hey, no problem with me whatsoever. We just had an interview with uh, Miss Pearl Walker, and I got to say she was driving for a minute, and I was glad when she pulled over. So be safe out there. Before we get started, Philip, I want to give a disclaimer. It's just me, Brian Stevens, who's a co-founder of the Greater 901. Has not been involved because CASA is a firm that he also founded and worked at, is involved in your campaign. So I wanted the
Sure.
record to state that CASA and everyone has completely stayed out of your race for good reason, to avoid any conflicts, and so you're left with just me today.
Nice.
All
I'm being
right.
sarcastic. Yeah, but no, that is nice. Thank you, and I appreciate obviously everything you just said very much. So thanks.
All right. So, first, congratulations on getting the highest score within the Greater 901 Initiative's scorecard. You filled out one of the best questionnaires that we had, and my first question for you is simple: why are you choosing to re-up for service on Memphis City Council?
I appreciate the question, and I was not aware of that score, so that's good news. I'm proud of that. Yeah, it was simple for me. My wife and I, our family's here. I served once before. I think I left a 16-year career at FedEx and my last term on the council to go devote 100% of my time to the city when I worked at the Chamber of Commerce. In hindsight, Phil Trineri's death, I was there for 120 days. It was on that 120th day that he was murdered. And really, I think it all, for me, started that night. I've wanted to get back into public service. Watching 2018, 2019, 2020, watching quite frankly where our city's gone, and in a sense where the country's gone with all the activism, watching crime. My family's here. We're not going anywhere, and we made the choice. I made the choice to stay here in Memphis. I've had more than half a dozen friends leave town because of crime, but we're not going anywhere. My family's staying here. I'm going to stay here. I'm going to be a part of getting this place on the right track.
Well,
and I'm excited to get back downtown.
Memphis certainly needs quitters. Memphis certainly needs
Yeah,
fighters,
right.
not quitters, right?
Yeah, right.
And that has actually been a tagline that your opponent. I know it's a 3-person race, but this will be one of the most expensive city council district races that we've seen. The money is staggering. And it's gotten to be kind of personal between you and one of your opponent who basically is out there saying that you can't be trusted because you quit before. So you want to clean up a little bit and just let people know like why you left and why you thought that was the right thing at the time. And you already said why you wanted to get back, but I think it's only fair to let you answer that question.
I appreciate the question. It's funny. I'm almost like, I don't want to take the bait. It's not personal to me. It's actually been quite hilarious at times to listen to some of the things that my opponent has been saying. I feel like it's almost desperation, but yeah, I don't.
Well, the rumors have been nasty. Maybe we'll get to a few of those later on. But look, Phil, you have a tremendous track record, and obviously our committee thought so on public safety. You recently got the police and fire endorsement. It's even my understanding that they may be doing some canvassing for you. They feel so strongly about putting you back on the council. With public safety being issue number one, what do you think we have to do to turn it around?
Hey, can you hear me?
Oh, there you go. Yeah, I can hear you now.
Yeah, Chance, I lost you, and I don't even know if you heard anything. I lost you. I felt like you said something.
I I'll go back. To reframe the question, I basically asked you, what do we need to do to get public safety as issue number one to get the city back on track?
Yeah, and I'm so sorry I lost you when you made the comment about the quitter deal, and I don't know if you even heard anything that
Oh
I
no, no,
said because I lost
we
you.
heard your response. You basically you laughed it off and said, the rumors are crazy. It's not worth an answer. And I said maybe we'll come back to some rumors later, but let's get into public.
Yeah, yeah. Well, one more thing, and I think I lost you, is just the fact that I haven't done anything in this campaign but really state facts about my opponent, and it's been wildly disappointing. But that's also been the hilarity of the situation. Is the name calling? I mean, look, I've got the endorsement from police, I've got the endorsement from fire. It's really simple. Like if you want a candidate, that focuses on public safety, that's going to be me. And now, my opponent seems to be all about public safety and police, and it's just been unfortunate. It's the activism um, that's gotten us where we are today, and I'm excited to be running again. But your question about police and fire, what was it again?
What do we need to do to turn the city around when it comes to public safety?
Yeah, so we've got to fully fund our police force. We've got to, we need to do everything we can to get criminals off the street, and we've got to look out for the innocent citizens of Memphis that just want to live their life and not be scared to put gas in their car. I mean, people have said that. Every single door that I've knocked on, everybody's scared to death. On the city council, I'll obviously be able to impact the budget for the police department and be able to have certain things under our power or breadth of control of what we can control. But then we've also got to work with the folks at the state level, at the federal level. We've got to get control of the crime problem right now, or else we're not going to have a city left. Really just that simple. Everybody's leaving. Again, I've known over half a dozen people that have left town, and man, just too many people have died, quite frankly, that are close to me. So yeah, I'm gonna stick around, and we're gonna be a part of fixing it.
Beyond public safety, Philip, the Greater 901 has economic development, local and state legislature, and past experience. I'll save past experience, and we talked about it a little bit of being a formal council member. At the time when you were on the council, and I got to come down there a little bit and watch you in action with some of the developments we had. You had to have been one of the most affable guys on the council. You got along with just about everyone. Tell me why that's so important in the Memphis City Council.
Yeah, so I appreciate that question. I've been flattered, and I say all this humbly. You have to be able to build relationships, and I've been able to do that. It's a natural thing for me. Republican, Democrat, it doesn't. I don't view things like that. From an economic development standpoint, I've been able to build relationships again at the state level, at the federal level. Locally, that's what I'm excited to do when I get back down there again. I think that's certainly one of my strengths. My time at the chamber, and you say you don't want to go back in time too much, but I think it's just worth noting, like, my time at the chamber when I left the city council, our numbers on the police force were going up, violent crimes were going down in 2019, and yeah, I mean, when I got to the chamber again, I was able to dedicate 100% of my time to the city that I love. And we had so many projects on the books. We had people moving here. It was just a great time. So yeah, those relationships are wildly important to me. And it's quite frankly, it's just how you get things done. You find the common ground. And at the end of the day, everybody wants the same thing. And that's what I'm optimistic about. That is still the case today. But somehow we've gotten off track.
Well,
With the relationship side, and it goes back to all the activist situation. I mean, we've got to get through that.
No, clearly coming through COVID, we saw a wave of activism, and then we saw we saw a lot of things that activists campaigned for at the time. And under the guise of COVID and public health safety, we saw 700 inmates released from the jail system. And about 4 to 6 weeks after that, we started to see the surge in crime. We saw loosening of bail reform, and I say bail reform. They called it bail reform, but cashless bail, and the bail court hearing system was established, partly through a consent decree that no one voted on or approved through our elected leadership. We saw a litany of property crimes due to the state passing permitless carry and constitutional carry laws. So the feeling of I don't want to call it dread, but that we can't put our arms around as a community the crime issue. It's a relatively recent phenomenon. I mean, when you go back 5-6 years ago, 2018, 19, the trajectory was really pretty great. And so a lot of these are problems that we created through our elected leaders and unelected leaders during the pandemic. But you have a pretty good track record of knowing how to put the genie back in the bottle.
Well, I don't, again, I appreciate the compliments, but I also want to be very sensitive to the fact that I am about to hopefully be elected again, and then I'm going to be down there working with council members. I know a lot of the folks that are running certainly have been getting a lot of encouragement and from current council members. I mean, so I don't know what the makeup of the council is going to look like, so I'm not here to
I got
throw anybody under.
I got a scorecard here that's got every race. So hopefully, I
think.
But yeah.
Well, look, I don't think people wake up in the morning and try to find ways to increase crime in Memphis. I mean, I don't. I think I'd like to think that decisions were made and thoughtfully chosen with clear consciences and a clear conscience. But obviously, man, there's been unintended consequences from every single one of those ordinances that has been passed recently. So I don't, obviously we got to make some changes, and I'm excited to get down there and be a part of making the changes that we have to make our city safe again. And it's common sense stuff, man. It really is. I mean, I don't think there's go ahead.
No, I think that answer shows a little bit of why you're so likable. It's okay to say, hey, look, I believe you made a decision in good faith, but it's not going the way we thought. Let's think about how we fix it. So Philip, if you're such a nice guy, and I think anyone that meets you really is, and I'm going back now several election cycles for District 5. It's a district that Mayor Strickland held for 2 or 3 terms before he ran and successfully ran for mayor. He's a pretty moderate Democrat and held the seat, and I think also endorsed you. Then Worth Morgan's had it for the past 8 years. He had a challenger from Dan Springer, who now works in the Strickland administration as his deputy chief operating officer. I think Worth won his race by a couple hundred votes first time. It was a very close, went to a runoff, very hard fought, but it was never this nasty. What do you think is driving your particular race to be one of the nastiest city council races that I've seen in 15, 20 years?
Man, I don't, I've really kept my head down and tried, all we've done is stated facts about my opponent. So when you say nasty,
well, it seems very personal. I've had these conversations. Like, one of your opponents is St. Mary's grad, right? Wealthy, very wealthy family, East Memphis, like your person, and yet, and I'll give you my opinion. You're a Christian Brothers alum. You worked for FedEx. You're working as a businessman, small business owner yourself now. Worked for the chamber. It seems like this would be like an easy choice between either one of you, and like it really doesn't matter because you're the same person. Except, and here's the big exception, and probably when people see the release of our scorecard, we'll understand why there's such a big divide between your score and your opponent's score. Philosophically and ideologically and tactically. There may not be a bigger divide on any other race between the tactics and beliefs that your opponent has and who you are as a person and your beliefs ideologically. I don't think there's a bigger gap in
Yeah. So,
any race other than that. And I think that's what's causing this.
well, I think you said it. I think you just said it right there. I think that my opponent has just not been honest, and all we're doing is unfortunately having to tell the truth about the individual, and it's one of those moments in time where I guess you could say somebody gets defensive, perhaps. I mean, I don't know how else to put
Well,
it, but we're
it feels like
stating facts,
it's
and
more
that's
of a
it.
it feels like it's more of a congressional campaign. I mean, it does. It feels like it's
Yeah, that's
a
right. That's
a
right.
hard right, which you're not. You're moderate, if anything,
Yeah, this is a Memphis
versus
City
a hard
Council
left. And
race.
it's like I'm watching like a presidential contest. And just for those out there, District 5 represents East Memphis, goes out to Kirby, a little bit of Midtown. It is again a district that Mayor Strickland held, then Worth Morgan. Worth Morgan was the Republican nominee for the Shelby County mayor's race against Mayor Harris last race. Obviously, Mayor Strickland is a moderate Democrat. So it's a purplish area of town, and yet I'm watching a race. I think it would be as if it was a Barack Obama versus Trump type of no holds
Yeah,
bar. It's which
it's
seems
just
crazy for
disappointing.
this race, right?
It's disappointing. And again, it's kind of like I think I used that now. I know I did on another interview where I said it's like watching a bad Saturday Night Live skit over and over again. With when it comes to some of the comments that unfortunately my opponent's making. I mean, you knock on doors and there's it's just not being truthful, not being honest about who she is, what she said, what she stood for in the past. And I think she knows that the voters and the people of Memphis, and I think all around the country, are just over it and tired of it. And she's just not being truthful about decarcerate Memphis, some of the stuff that Micah stands for, group that she was so proud to speak on that she helped to start, right? And
Right.
but now it's like she
Yeah.
runs from it, and it's
So
just like be honest. So I
yeah,
think
yeah,
there's anger there maybe on
and
her side.
I'll help the listeners out a little bit here, just so people don't think we're talking in innuendo here. Philip's opponent is a current and former community activist that was at the lead of tip of the spear of a lot of the Black Lives BML movement's objectives, as well as cashless bail, as well as criminal justice quote reform, and a number of other things that
And has been proud of that. And I mean, and I
right, that's
just
right.
she should be proud of that. It just doesn't really go ahead. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt.
And of course the biggest issue today is the defund the police movement. And now I think nationally everyone's backed out from that, but the problem is, to her credit, this has been a 20-25 year life's work mission of hers. Very strong backer of DA Mulroy, who I think has endorsed her, as well as a number of big groups like the ACLU, et cetera, but then comes across as wanting to be like a moderate Republican, which I don't have a problem if she were, or vice versa.
And that would be the Saturday Night Live skit part of
Right,
like
right.
it's pretty funny. Yeah.
But then she's painting you out to be um
A quitter.
this caricature, right?
Right, right.
That all of a sudden everyone's, and that's why it's gotten so nasty. But enough of that, enough of her. Let me turn us back to one more thing that I think is just critically important. When you are at the chamber and in your current business and the things you did on the council, one of our core beliefs at the Greater 901 is you're not going to be able to sue your way out of Memphis's problems. You're not going to be able to raise property taxes and tax your way out of the problem. Basically the biggest thing that we can do as a community is grow a stronger Black middle class and build better relationships with the state to get resources that we don't have generating internally to help us on things like poverty, education, affordable healthcare, affordable housing, transportation through MATA. Phil, why are you the right guy to go up to the state and lobby for those types of things, and why do you care so much about those initiatives?
Yeah, so thanks for the question. And I don't want to sound like I'm just, regurgitating the same, but look, I've done this before, and I'm proud of the work that we've done in the past. Every single thing you just mentioned are things that I've been a part of, and been a part of progress on all those issues. When we were on city council, we started an initiative, and I was at the core of that, to go to Nashville, start building those relationships. That was back in 2016.
You were
When I
part of
got
the
to the
original
chamber,
Memphis and Nashville team, right?
that's right. And then, when I got to the chamber with Phil, with Beverly, we would go with the chairman's circle. We started creating task forces to go and build relationships, like real genuine relationships and friendships. Those are important, and it doesn't matter, not just in Nashville, but all around this city, man. I'm grateful and thankful for the ones that I have: North Memphis, South Memphis, East Memphis. Those things are real, and the doors, again, that I'm knocking on, folks have been so encouraging and excited to see me get back down there, and I can't wait to be a part of spearheading all of those things. But we've got to get the crime under control, Chance. I mean, if we don't do that, I mean, we're not going to be able to support and make an impact on any of these things that we have to address here in Memphis. I mean, we've got to get crime under control right now.
All right. Well, I've asked every candidate at the end of this interview sort of process this question: how much did you pay to get on the Greater 901 endorsement list or ballot?
Man, I have paid $0.
$0. The
I've
endorsement
paid
money
zero
can't buy.
dollars. No, I have paid $0. Hey, and you talk about something that's unique. Last time I ran these ballots, it's amazing. There's so many ballots out there right now, and everybody wants money to get on these ballots. And I can tell you, I haven't played in that world
You haven't paid to have
at
your name
all.
attached to a
So
ballot, right? You're not a paid to play scheme guy.
no, I just haven't, man. I just haven't. It just doesn't feel right to me. It hasn't happened. It's been interesting. I wasn't aware that all this was happening. But yeah, no, I paid $0
All right. Well, I just wanted people
to
to
be
know
on
that
the
you
Greater
you you
901
you
ballot.
earned
I'm
it. The
excited to hear I got a good score. I want to see the score.
yeah, you'll find out here very soon. Philip, thank you so much for your time. I appreciate it. Good luck at your campaign.
Thank you. Appreciate your chance. Take care, man. See you soon.